The WNBA Draft Lottery is days away. Much like the Catalina wine mixer, it's a big effing deal. We'll go through why it's such a big deal, the mechanics of the lottery, the prize waiting for the team that lands the number one pick, and how landing the number one pick would impact each of the 4 teams in the lottery. Let's start this by getting Sue Bird to please explain the importance of the draft lottery.
Last question, Jackie Powell. Go ahead, Jackie.
Hi, Sue. You talked about how this franchise went through a rebuild and how that was something that was really special to you. So I'm curious what you think it takes for a successful rebuild to happen in this league, and what about that process, or what it taught you, what that process taught you in your career?
Well, you got to get the number one pick. That's pretty much what this conversation is, let's be honest. I'm not encouraging tanking. I understand this is not what you want to have happen, but I can name maybe 2 teams that have ever had success, like going to the finals, winning a championship, that don't have a number one pick on them or don't have, multiple top 3 picks. I think women's basketball, given that we only have 12 teams, I also think women's basketball, when you have special talent, that's when you win. You win a championship because you have a player like Stewie on your team. You win a championship because you have a player like Lauren on your team. See, I keep eating this. You win a championship because you have players like Diana Taurasi or Maya Moore on your team. It's kind of the sad truth, and I feel really lucky that, I've played with multiple. I've played with, 2 like franchise, epic, Hall of Fame, legendary players. That's how you win, and it's really difficult to do it otherwise. The teams that have so much credit, and I think a lot of that's when things like free agency come into play, and that's when you can put together and find the pieces. But generally speaking, you need that one.
Now, how does the draft lottery work? Okay, this is the mechanics as best as I can explain it. There are 1,001 possible combinations of 4 digits, from which 4 combinations out of this 1,000 are assigned to all 4 lottery teams. They essentially put 14 numbers 1 through 14 into the lottery machine and draw out 4 balls, and they essentially ignore balls 11, 12, 13, and 14. That combination is ignored. The 4 balls are drawn out of the machine, and essentially whatever team has that combination of numbers essentially wins the lottery. And then they repeat it. So whoever wins the first pick, then they do it one more time to see who wins the second pick. And then after that, picks 3 and 4 are then allocated based on the team's records. The team with the highest winning percentage picking 4th, and the one with the lower percentage gets the number 3 pick. So in the 2023 draft, here are the odds. So Indiana Fever have the best chance with a 44.8% chance of winning. So essentially 448 numbers allocated to them. The Atlanta Dream have the second best chance at 27.6% chance with 276 numbers allocated to them. Washington Mystics at 17.8% or 178 numbers. And then the Minnesota Lynx have the last or least chance with 10.4% with 104 numbers allocated to them. Ernst & Young holds the votes discreetly, and then it gets announced, with teams celebrating obviously if they win, and it goes from there. Now, as you're likely aware, it appears that the 2023 draft will have a franchise-changing player. Aaliyah Boston, stay healthy. But she's in the mold of one of those franchise-changing players like Lauren Jackson, Taurasi, or Stewart, where teams can build a championship around her. She's a 6'5" center who moves like a guard and has a wingspan of a player that's 6'9". The obvious comparisons have been to AJ Wilson, as she is also a Gamecock, as Wilson was. Now, how would winning affect the teams involved in the lottery? Well, first off, the Fever, who have been a laughingstock of the league for over half a decade now. Once again, they have the best odds to win the lottery. They'll be hoping to finally get the number 1 pick, something that has eluded them not only for 6 consecutive lottery appearances, but for their entire franchise history. If the Fever win the lottery and finally come over their decades of bad luck, new coach Kristen Sides will have a chance to go to the playoffs next year and build a championship for this franchise. Now, the Atlanta Dream are drooling to pair Boston with last year's WNBA Rookie of the Year, Ryan Howard. If they get the pick, then Atlanta fans start buying your season tickets. If the Mystics win, then they have an heir apparent to Deladon and will be a serious threat to go all the way in 2023. If this does happen, not only will Washington be set for years to come, but cries from LA will be deafening, as this is the Sparks' pick, which they gave to Atlanta in the Kennedy Carter trade, which Atlanta subsequently traded to the Mystics to get the number 1 pick to draft Ryan Howard. If this happens, it will solidify Derek Fisher's place as the worst GM in WNBA history. The odds for the Lynx to win this are only 10%, but hey, you gotta be in it to win it. If Minnesota wins, then they have a generational talent to pair with Collier and with a good coach to blend this all together, as Cheryl Reeves has just signed a 5-year contract extension. Good luck to all the teams. We'll catch up after the lottery. Thanks a lot for watching.